Hey guys, Cole here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. So this one is a balancing patch video. All right, we got news about some balance changes that are coming with the next patch. I'm guessing for 4 champions, 3 epics, and 1 legendary champion, which is such a shame that they're doing this change on him. I believe it's a nerf. I'm kind of upset about it. Not so much about the change because I'm not really using that champion, but because they went into the effort of changing him, might as well put in a little bit more effort to understand why he was like that and where you could use the potential of that champion. Well, we'll have a look at that in the end because it's going to be a little bit of a rant. Let's get started with the epic champions that are changing. I see no reason why they're changing epics and doing all that effort. So getting things started, it's going to be Snorting Thug. So Snorting Thug is a Skinwalker's champion. If I remember correctly, there he is. So his wanton mugging now changes a little bit. Each hit has a 30% chance of stealing 1 random buff. So his chance goes to a little bit higher than what it is right now to steal the buffs, and that increases with books. And then his Ruckus skill now changes to a 3-turn cooldown, and attacks when an enemy will ignore the target's defense if they have no active buffs, steals 2 random buffs from the target. It remains the same kind of, so they just decrease the cooldown of that. I haven't seen anywhere that you use Snorting Thug. This passive right here, where he counterattacks the attacker if they have no active buffs, it's a 50% chance of stealing 1 random buff from the attacker, occurrence once per hit, counterattacks the attacker if they have no active buffs. This was interesting in the past. I tried to make like a spider team with him, as he would counterattack always the small spiders, and it didn't really work because the life he would get back from just attacking wasn't that high. It wasn't really worth all that effort to try and make him a a champion where he could tank the small spiders. It was kind of difficult to do that, and I guess you can use him in a way to steal the buffs from the counterattack buffs, from the counterattacks. If he does it on the first hit, maybe it's I don't see where you would use this champion. I don't know. Next one changing is gonna be Ripper. Okay, another Skinwalker's champion. So Scar for life is his skills that is getting changed. Attacks one enemy, decreases the max HP by 30% of the damage inflicted. So that's his A1 skill. So instead of 30%, this is boosted to 30%. Not a bad change if you want to use him for somewhere that you need the decrease of max HP change to happen. And then his heavy slam skill is changing. Okay, heavy slam is his A3, I'm guessing. All right, decreases from 5 to 4 turns cooldown and will ignore 50% of the target's defense. Decrease their max HP by 40% instead of 30 of the damage inflicted. That is not that bad, but again, it's very situational where you're going to use it. So he's got that single target big ignore hitting skill. Aura, it's actually changing when it changes to all ally critical rate boost to 19% instead of 23 for only force allies. So more of a buff for this one compared to what Snorting Thug is getting. And then let's have a look at Blood Feather. I don't really care for these epics because even with all these buffs, they're not so much great. So extra 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit instead of 30. That is okay. Then Armor Breaker places a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Then attacks one enemy. Has an extra 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit. This is solid because now it changes to placing the debuff first and then doing the big hit. That is actually solid. I would like to test her out in terms of the potential that she can do for single target, 3-turn cooldown, where she will apply the decreased defense first. She doesn't care about the affinity now because of this. She will need accuracy still, but because it's a placement and then an attack, it means she'll always apply it if the accuracy check goes through, and then she'll do the burst. So you can keep her at 70% crit rate and try and do your burst, and then charge shot. So cooldown decreased to 3 when booked. So that's cool. And then attacks one enemy, places a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Decrease the target's turn meter by 50%, has an extra 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit. So you can build over 70% overall. The decrease in turn meter, it goes to 50%, which is very solid. And still, though, the issue is that here she'll do the attack first and then try to place and decrease the turn meters. So again, you have issues with affinity. So like they try to fix it with this one. So she also does more damage through this, but then they mess it up with this one. But I mean, it's better than what Snorting Thug in terms of buffs he got. But let's go on to the theme of this video for the point of being the big change coming into one of the legendaries. Is the one and only Void legendary Byron right here. Okay, Byron, very unique champion. Okay, if you guys never seen him showcased before, is because he has a very niche kit. He has to activate his passive, very similar to Mortu, but it's not through defense where he gets attacked. He needs to attack to activate Sky Piercer. Attacks all enemies, deals pure damage, so he ignores defense 100%. Will ignore shield and block damage buffs as well. This has a 4.3 multiplier, by the way, guys. And what changes now to Baron, right, because of this very unique skill, is that they remove this chance which all of his skills have. 10% of his A1, 20% of his A2, which has a cooldown, and 40% of his A3, which again has a cooldown. This was what made him very unique. He had single target skills, but because he had that chance to activate this other skill, it made it so that you had some potential right there. You had some potential to unlock this skill and actually utilize it against your enemies. And what they're doing now is that they remove this part of the secret skill, all right, Sky Piercer. They remove it, but they also nerf this skill right here. So it now will be available forever. So there's no secret way of activating it. It will have a 4-turn cooldown. It will deal pure damage, but to 50%. So ignores 50% of defense. So I worded it incorrectly. It's just a 50% ignore of defense now, instead of 100% that it was before. So it's a pretty much guaranteed nerf in my eyes. Okay, now this is always available, so you can start out with him nuking out the enemies with this skill. But before, you could actually have him just stand there, wait out. If I remember correctly, he could get locked out by, let's say, Warlord, but still he would have his A1 skill, which you could use that in a way to then activate Sky Piercer, because this is hidden until you actually enable it. So just to showcase Baron, I mean, he has such a solid kit, all right? He had such a solid kit, and now they're changing it to have a specific cooldown. I would want to test him out with the 50% ignore defense. You're going to have the Savage Head, which doesn't stack up. It's not going to make him ever have a 100% chance to ignore like before. The 50% chance plus the Savage plus Helm Smasher are going to be working together and not additive. They're going to be multiplicative. The changes that will happen, you'll still have a solid ignoring of the enemy's defense. All right, let's see Sky Piercer in action right here. I'll just do a full burst here to all these enemies, ignoring 100% of their defense. Pure damage, look at that, 130,000 damage. And that's his real potential, right? Because of that. You would use him in fun teams like this with Baron for the Doom Tower for his A1. And then if Sky Piercer procced, he would use that instead and just take out the full of these enemies, right? Really fun champion because of his A1 skill and the Sky Piercer proc. You could even use him in the arenas, all right? You would use him in the arenas. Let's see. So this team has a Warlord in it. I'm gonna see if he's gonna lock me out. So what I'll do here is just I'll let him do his skill to lock me out. I won't use the A2 from Kaimar. Just gonna do the A1. I'm gonna wait him to lock me out. Let's just leave that ninja there. Oh, that's actually gonna break because of the poison. Oh my god, how slow is that Warlord? At least we're frozen. Okay, he now manages to increase my cooldowns, but if we manage to get a turn there, okay, finally we can check. So because the secret skill is hidden, you could actually have Warlord attack you. He would boost, increase your cooldowns, and then it wouldn't affect something like Baron. I mean, something better would have been if they changed him to be somewhere unkillable or be as tanky as Mortu. So he would be the alternative attack-based champion to Mortu, where he would still have at least some way to protect himself from the enemies. That would be a solid change to Baron. But the way they made him right now is that the enemy warlord would have eliminated all my skills, and I would just have the A1 skill to attack with. And if the enemy team is tanky enough, they would survive. If they had the stone skin set, they would still survive because the A1 wouldn't do any damage to it really. But right now, I mean, I could go and try and get the kill here and just kill all of them, but that's not why I show that. It's basically for the big nerf that Baron is getting through this. I think it's kind of a nerf. They could have gone a little bit differently with how they could have changed him. I like the speed change. All right, it's needed. He was 90 speed base, and comparing it to Trunda, she was 100. So they could have had him at the same speed as her. He is a Void Legendary. Also consider that he has lower attack than Trunda, just to compare. But his kit was very unique because of that. Very unique because of the Sky Piercer. And now they're changing it. I want to get on the patch and actually test out and see the potential use of him as a big nuker. But again, I don't know who's going to be better. A double hitting attack, which has like a 6 multiplier, or let's say that 50% ignore defense that you always have, but is susceptible to the warlords. All right. That was the video for today, guys. What you think of the nerf? Let me know down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.